Okay.
Try and keep it this week so I can see the chat. You kept turning it off the chat last time.
Right, we are live.
Hello.
Only by a couple of minutes. Pathologically early, me. Hello. There's only two people in here at the moment. Hi, whoever you are. Welcome to the parish meeting. We'll do what we always do. We'll wait until we've got a good number of people in before we begin. Nikki will be joining me shortly. That's why there's a space here on this side of me. So we'll see who's coming to say hello this time. I'm wearing the hoodie again. It's getting cold now, so this is definitely the thing to wear in this weather at this time of year. I love how it's oversized because I can just go like that. You can't see me. So yeah, we all got one. Nikki's not wearing hers at the moment, but who we got in there? Here we go. Oh, hello, Rachel. Hello, Vincent. Tom's daughter. Hi. Good afternoon from New York.
Oh, is he back in from New York?
Yes, we have someone in from New York, and I'm not talking about New York Stadium in Rotherham, which I see on a regular basis. 10 of us in now. How are we all then? Are we all enjoying this early autumn freshness, shall we say? It's definitely cooled down a little bit. I'm glad of that, to be fair, because even though it's nice when it's warm, when it gets too warm, that's when it gets difficult to actually function properly. So yeah. Just while we wait for some more people to turn up, by the way, I'm going to be wearing this for a short time in this stream. If you don't know what this is, I have a follower called Diane who lives in Montana in America, and I've been covering some areas in Lincolnshire which she's been interested in them because it's where her ancestors come from. And so as a kind of a thank you for covering those areas, I got sent a lot of things from Montana. And this is one of them. This is a hat brella. And the idea is you wear this on your head. I made a post about this when I received it. And I wore it on my head in the post. I don't know whether you've seen it or not. If you haven't, this is what it looks like. The idea is it keeps the rain off your head. Although, to be honest, I'd probably use this in the sun as well to sort of protect me from like really strong rays. So, I mean, it's not the most comfortable of things in the world, but it's
like a right one.
It's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, I've only ever seen pictures of these before, and now I've actually got one. It feels a bit weird to wear one. Can you get in, Mrs. Nikki's just taking her place.
I think they can see that.
Yeah. So
good evening, everybody.
I'll keep this on for a little bit. I'm sure it'll increase the humour value greatly.
Take my pissing eye out.
I look like a cocktail umbrella. Yes, indeed I do. Indeed I do. Actually, Richard, there's going to be some alcohol involved in this episode, so it's kind of appropriate, fitting. Isn't it? Yeah, it's fitting, yeah. So, yeah, I totally look the part of Village Idiot now, don't I? So, Andy the cocktail, yeah. You know what? I'm actually going to wear this in an episode soon. I'm actually literally going to walk around a village wearing this. I haven't decided which one yet, but I will.
I won't be in this episode.
No, I'll be on my own. Whichever village I pick, I will have to obviously wear this now. I've said it because I've promised you now. So, yeah, I wonder how many comments I'm going to get. So, right.
Well, it's like I said, I've given you my comment. You look like a right one.
Yeah, well, you see, you would say that. These guys can't obviously see what you say most of the time, but
yeah, but I think they've got a good idea. I think everybody that's watching this right now has pretty much got the measure of me.
Yes. So, it's the funny thing about this. I mean, I keep having to do this because the back of it is quite. I wouldn't say it's tight, but it sort of digs in because these like metal poles are quite in your face If you know what I mean. They're kind of.
I can't believe we're having such a conversation about a hat brown.
I know.
But surely we've got better things to talk about.
Well, we do. I mean, I was sent some other things. From Diane as well, and this was one of them. This is huckleberry jelly, which seems to be a Montana thing.
And we've got huckleberry soap.
Yeah, we've got the huckleberry soap as well.
Yeah, its smell is quite strong.
I mean, I've tried this. This is quite nice.
Okay.
Have you tried it? All right, okay. This is quite good. I definitely recommend it. It tastes a bit like blackberry jelly, what we would buy in this country.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's these are two of the things I got sent from Montana, which was a really unexpected thing. But that's just,
I'll bring your daughter a big whacking box from the postie. You can take it off now.
Yeah, I'll take it off now. Yeah, to be fair, it's like I said, it's a little bit uncomfortable, so I will take it off. But I promise you, I will wear this in a village somewhere in the near future. Look like a proper village idiot. This with the high vis, people are going to think, what the heck is he doing? Okay. Yes, Dave, Huckleberry Hound. That's what I thought
Huckleberry
of too.
Finn as well.
Yeah, Huckleberry Finn too. Is that not the same thing?
No, Huckleberry Hound was a donkey, was it? Huckleberry Finn was a person. He's just proving his name now, isn't he?
I say this in every episode. It's impossible to know everything, and certainly I didn't know that. So, right. I think we've got enough people in. We've got 14 people in now. So I think that's a good time to get going. Northumberland is the first thing on the agenda.
Yes, asked about it. How was Northumberland?
Well,
oh my goodness.
I mean,
put the cat down, please.
we spent 4 days in Northumberland. We based ourselves just outside New Biggin by the Sea, which of course you already knew because that was what I'd planned to do in a parish notice board ages ago. So we based ourselves there. We were at Woodhorn Grange, which is on the site of an old colliery, and part of that colliery is still standing. Most of it used to be a spoil heap, and it's been turned into a big lake. But the bit that's still standing...
Yes, the Queen Elizabeth II Country Park and Lake, no less.
So if you want to search for that on the map, that's where we were. So
very fitting.
You've got the lake, which used to be the spoil heap, and then you've got the old colliery buildings, which have been turned into a museum. It's called Woodhorn Museum. And that features in one of the episodes that you'll see from our trip when they eventually come out in December.
Thanks, Lauren.
So we spent 4 days up there. We did New Biggin by the Sea. We did Cresswell, which is a little village just to the north of New Biggin. That one was quite interesting because that featured a tower. I don't want to give too much away because obviously
the episodes I've seen them all, they're brilliant. You'll enjoy them. I feature them. Of course they're brilliant.
Of course they're brilliant. Nicky's in them. And then we went up to Widdrington Village, which is the smallest one of the ones we did, but it had the most interesting bits, if you know what I mean. Because the thing with that one is the walk around was really easy because it was very small, but then in the car we were running around to all other bits and bobs that fall within the boundaries. So that one's quite complicated. We also did Holy Island, of course, and that was easily the best.
Yeah. And that's probably, why Carmina, you think he's dressed as a monk. This is his hoodie.
Yes, it's fitting considering we've just been to Holy Island, which is obviously about monks and things like that. I talk about all that kind of stuff in that episode. So yeah, I do look a bit like a monk, don't I?
Well, do you know, first time we put it on, I said he looked like a mad monk.
So anyway, when we were on Holy Island, we did a bit of shopping.
Sorry, Carmina is hoodie. It's like a big hoodie thing. Stand up, Andy.
Stand up. I can't stand up. I've got no room to stand up here. Trust me, there's very little room here. I'll try my best.
It's a big, massive,
oversized. It's oversized,
with a big pocket in the front. It keeps him warm.
We've all got one, so it's right. So when we were on Holy Island,
yes, the TVI pounds came out.
Oh, they did. They did big style, and we bought quite a few things. Now, first of all,
hang on, wait a minute. I just want to say,
yep.
Now he's got pants on. dear, oh dear.
Of course I've got pants on.
I just want to say that it seems like we've bought a lot of sweet things here, and I mean, I'm not exactly sylph-like, but we don't eat it all ourselves because we have family members who we pass on some of these items to. Particularly things like, when I buy eggs, I usually buy a dozen because my stepdad has half a dozen. Sometimes my brother has bits and pieces of us. So we don't, what we buy with the TVI pounds is not just for us.
No, I mean, if a good example of that is South Kelsey, which is coming soon, where Nikki buys some bird peanuts, and gives them to her stepdad to feed his birds. So we don't keep it all for ourselves.
So from Holy Island,
we've got quite a selection. Now, obviously, not all of this is what we bought because Dennis has had some bits. So we've got a few jars. We've got 4 jars. This is blueberry jam, which is made on the island. There you go. That's come from Holy Island. There's another one which is similar.
Cinnamon, apple, and sultana.
Cinnamon, apple, and sultana.
So it's like mince pie in a jar.
Pretty much, yeah. And there was another one which you've given away, marmalade. Okay. And then we've also got, again from Holy Island. Now, these came from the St. Aidan's winery. And again, they're jams, they're preserves. That one's raspberry, and this one's rhubarb and ginger. Now, these two are kind of special because they've got in them Lindisfarne Mead. Now, if you don't know what Lindisfarne Mead is, we're going to show you. Here we are. 2 sample bottles of Lindisfarne Mead. This is world famous stuff, apparently, and it attracts visitors from all over the globe. It's 14.5% volume, so if you drink a bit of this, you'll know about it.
So 1 and your anybody's, and 2 and your everybody's.
Pretty much, yeah. So that's the pink version. I assume it's like pink gin, but I'm not totally sure because I'm not the biggest drinker in the world. That's the spiced version. And we bought a dark version as well, but we've given that away already. So, we haven't tried it yet. But I have tried the jam, and you can taste the alcohol in it. It's not massively
strong.
It doesn't.
Yeah, you're not going to get drunk on it by having jam on toast. Put it that way.
But you might after a bottle or 2 of this, which is a bit different.
And then, of course, you have to get a tea towel.
Yeah. Lindisfarne tea towel. Now, I'll show you some bits on here. So if you've never been to Holy Island, you will be amazed how much stuff it's got for quite a small island. So I'll point out a few things. This here is a statue of St. Aidan. He's one of the 2 saints who were very important to the island. St. Cuthbert is the other. This here is the Lindisfarne Priory. That's St. Aidan as well. This here is a map of the island. It's not very big, but obviously in the episode you'll see how big it is. The village is sort of there, and then all this bit is a big nature reserve. And I walked all the way up here, which is a long way, I'm telling you. Is that the priory again at the bottom? It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's Lindisfarne Castle, which is, it looks big, but in comparison to some castles you may know, it's really small.
My arms hurt.
And the colours on this are inspired by the Lindisfarne Gospels, which is something I do talk about in that episode as well. So there you go. That's the tea towel. And if that's not enough, we've also got a guidebook from Holy Island as well,
which was very useful.
This was useful for making the episode. It's quite thick and quite expensive. So that was a good buy.
We got some more of these chocolates from New Biggin as well. We got a dozen again.
Yeah.
Stepdad's had some again. Cresswell.
For Cresswell.
Another guidebook.
Yeah, another guidebook for Cresswell. A lot of good information in that. Now, these 2 books, I've kind of finished with them now because the episodes are already made because I'm just that efficient.
So maybe we can do a giveaway when the episodes come out.
I actually want to give these away because I'm pretty sure there are people out there who are going to be very interested, certainly in Holy Island, but maybe in Cresswell as well. You never know.
We'll do it at Christmas when the videos come out.
So, okay.
You've got a question there?
I have a question. Yes, sorry, I've gone ranting on about all that. I haven't really looked at the comments, have I? So, let's see. Where was the question, Nikki?
It says, hi, Andy and Nikki. Hope you're both good. Yes, we are. Thank you very much, Steve. last time I was pestering you about when you was doing Barlby. This
Yep.
time, do you know when you're doing Long Riston?
And not yet. It won't be this year. As far as the East Riding goes, I've planned out everything now between now and the end of the year for the East Riding, and Long Riston's not part of it. But it will be done at some point. Of course, it will. I'm actually doing really well with the East Riding. I'm almost at the halfway stage, which is crazy to think. It's got 172, and I'm nearly at the halfway stage. So it won't be long, and I will get there. So yeah.
So, Carmina, yes, we did. We had a very enjoyable anniversary. I might actually post a picture in a bit on the Village People. Andy said to me, surely for a wedding anniversary, we should be having a posh dinner and all the rest of it, wine and dressing up. Well, I'm not that kind of lass. So it was pizza and mozzarella sticks in a car overlooking Newbiggin Bay, and that suited me just down to the ground.
It was perfect. I mean, honestly, it was perfect. I mean, if you've got the sea and you've got decent food and decent company, then can you ask for any more? I mean, that's just how we roll. And we had all three things, and it was good. Dave, did we go to Bamburgh Castle? No, we didn't, but we drove past it because what we did, coming back from Holy Island down to Newbiggin, it's about an hour's drive. We went by the coastal route, which is how we ended up in sea houses. Well done if you got that, by the way, on the Parish Notice Board yesterday. We were in sea houses for that, so a few people got it. Well done. And we drove past Bamburgh Castle because on the coast road, it runs right past the castle. And it's
you've got the Grace Darling Museum on one side and the castle on the other. And you could proper get up close and personal with the castle on that road. It's quite something, isn't it?
Yeah, you've also got Warkworth Castle as well on that.
On
that
road. You could get up close and personal with as well.
And you get really close to the I don't know how to pronounce this River Coquette. It's funny where I do deliveries. There's a road called Coquette Avenue. I've never known how to pronounce it, and now I do. Weirdly. So
what else have we got there?
Okay.
Are we doing the channel full time now? Unfortunately not. We wish, Richard, keep doing the liking and the sharing and the, I don't know, set the video playlist off, mute it and go and do the washing up or something,
We'll get there eventually.
But
I mean, to be fair, I do want to do it full time, but I'm enjoying it as it is at the moment. It's certainly
unfortunately
way beyond what I ever thought. How
because we can't manage on just my wage alone, unfortunately, because I work full time. We can't manage on my wage alone, which is unfortunate. But at some point, hopefully, the channel will be generating its own income.
Yeah.
So
I do get a bit.
Yeah, you have to cover fuel and stuff.
Yeah, it covers fuel, but I mean, it's not enough to
it's actually not sustainable.
No.
So as I said, I mean, just stick a playlist on and walk off and do the washing up,
Carmina, how did we meet? Do you want to take this one, Nikki?
And Richard also asked this one. So, crikey, how long you got?
Well, I'll let you take this one because I'll probably mess something up.
So the potted version is we met in 2012. We're both married to other people. I was married with my girl's dad, and Andy had a wife and his children. And for both of us, things were not going well, but we didn't really know. In 2013, my mother died. And not long after that, it was a bit of a crashing realisation that the marriage had come to an end. And it actually coincided with the same time that yours came to an end, didn't it?
Pretty much.
We kind of sort of met in the middle, and we've become a blended family. We've been together since 2013. We got married 4 years ago. We couldn't be happier. I'm a little bit older. Don't tell anyone.
Does anybody want to know how much older?
No, that's a lady's secret. I'm 21 plus VAT, and he's 19.
Just before anybody asks, by the way, I'm 38. So, I don't feel 38.
So anyway. I mean, we've just kind of met at a stage in our lives where our marriages have sort of come to an end independently of. It was nothing to do with the fact that me and Andy had met.
No, pretty much.
So girls talking. So we just kind of sort of fell in together.
Yeah.
And it's been really good. Like I said, blended family now, 5 children between us. My girls live here with me and Andy, and then Andy's children come and visit, every sort of couple of weeks. And
these the girls Nicky's talking about, of course, are Hannah, Victoria, and Lauren, which
you've all seen.
You've all seen before. Well, you didn't really see Victoria because I wanted to hide her face in that Summer Lane episode. So anyway, we'll talk more about that later because now we need to move on to the next thing. Yeah, it's nearly 20 past. So the next thing is to do with sponsorship. Now, in this week's parish notice board, I pointed you in the direction of a new sponsor which is coming on board later this month, October the 12th, the Appleby episode of North Lincolnshire, with the first time you see the advert for Jamie's fitness studio, which I showed you in the parish notice board. 1 second. Hannah.
Chuffing kids.
Hannah's got
no, just saying that. I love that kids wear chuffing kids. Thank you, Vincent.
It can be chaos in this house. Anyway, as I was saying. We've got a new sponsor coming on board for West Lindsey and for North Lincolnshire, which you saw in the parish notice board. However, there are plenty of other opportunities out there still for people to get on the bandwagon, as it were, with sponsorship. The East Riding has never, ever had a sponsor. So really what I'm doing in this part of the meeting is asking anybody out there who lives in the East Riding or close to, if you want to sponsor the East Riding series, please do let me know, because I'm surprised no one has yet. It's the only one that hasn't got one currently, unless you want to count the other little ones like the rugby series and the Harbour series that started this week. But the main one that hasn't got one is the East Riding. Is there anybody currently out there with a business in the East Riding or close to that wouldn't mind jumping on board? Of course, remember that Selby's coming to an end soon, and York will take over from that, which is right next door to the East Riding, so you could potentially go for that as well. Leeds is coming to an end as well, and that's going to be taken over by Bradford. So, there's plenty of areas out there where you can sort of get your business I won't say in people's faces because that sounds wrong. But, is there anyone out there who wants to jump on board with sponsorship? I'm all ears if there are.
Damn it, Sam, I absolutely agree.
Damn it, Sam, what?
I think we should get TVI to 1 million subscribers.
Oh, that's a bit of a pipe dream at the moment, I'm afraid.
This light's washing me out.
Yes, we've got a ring light on us this week. So, how about having your car vinyl wrapped with the TVI logo on? Do you mean like Lad Baby? Because I think his missus has his car like that, has her car like that.
I think a better thing would be, because sometimes when we go on these trips away, we have a hire car.
We do.
And I think a better thing would be I don't know if you've seen them, taxi companies have they're like a big magnet.
A big magnet?
Yeah, with the taxi company. Do that on TVI vroom vroom. Like a big magnet.
Is it like them things that you see on like pizza delivery cars?
Except but with the TVI on the top, logo.
Yeah. Possibly.
I mean, do you know what though? He doesn't actually even really need that. He got recognised on Holy Island.
Yeah, I did. By somebody from Withensea, believe it or not.
Well, she was born in Withensea.
Born in Withensea, yeah. But even so, I mean, that was quite amazing. I never expected to be recognised on Holy Island, which was.
It was crazy. Quite funny. We're just merrily walking along the street there, minding his own business, and this woman comes up and she says, "Are you the village guy?"
So.
And I just looked at her and I was like, "Yeah, he is."
I'm afraid I am.
Yeah.
So, nobody wanting to.
Well, just keep your ears to the ground, guys, and if you know anybody that might be looking for an outlet for advertising in those areas, just give us a shout.
Yeah, because I mean, the East Riding's a big place, and it would be criminal for it to go the entire series with nobody sponsoring it, to be honest. But this is how it is. I mean, if there's nobody out there, there's nobody out there. But I mean, it doesn't mean the other series aren't accessible for it, because I can add more adverts to each one. I don't want to put too many on, but at the moment, obviously, I've only got one mainly on.
At the moment, it's revenue, isn't it? It's bringing in the revenue from the channel so that we can do more on the channel. Doing things like going off and doing these trips away and extra stuff like the Tales from the Village Green and so on.
Oh, that's the point. I forgot to talk about that. Did we all watch the Angel of the North Tales from the Village Green? I put that out at the beginning of the trip. We stopped in Gateshead because we were driving straight up the A1, and obviously that was a nice, neat little rest stop because once you hit Gateshead, you're in, suburbia, aren't you? So we was able to stop for some food there. And of course, the Angel of the North is very close to the A1.
Controversial.
Yes, a little bit controversial. If I see any businesses would like to sponsor you from Hornsey, above all, drones might give you a lecture. Yeah. Oh, is he East Riding based, Carmina?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, he is.
Is he? No.
Don't you remember from the last live?
No. Honestly, no, I don't. I mean, it was a month ago.
Oh, he's slept since then.
Yeah, it's kind of hard remembering where everybody lives as well. I mean, obviously the names we see on this side panel, we see them, in various guises, on comments and things. And sometimes it's hard to remember where you actually all live because the area I've covered now is quite big. So it's kind of working out, remembering who lives where. So,
I see look above all
familiar names. Hull, yeah. I seem to remember actually. I think you might have commented on the Sprotely episode, maybe. You see, I'm having to rack my brains. I can't remember. So, Norfolk, yeah. It's a long way away, Norfolk, Dave. It will be done, mate. It will be done. I do promise you that. So, we were having an interesting little conversation about all these faraway areas the other day and how we're going to potentially do them. Yeah, about staying in various sort of locations that are close to county borders.
Oh yeah. I've slept since then.
So, okay, that kind of died a death, that one, didn't it? So, we'll move on to the next thing, which is to do with the changes which are going to have to happen because of the Queen's funeral. Now, you remember, last time we did a meeting, I told you, rather foolishly, I think maybe, all the places that I'm planning to go between now and Christmas. And I did say if anything changes, I would let you know. And of course, the Queen's funeral was a big
major event, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, we watched it.
We did.
I sort of spent the time because I had an extra day off. I work for a bank, so bank holiday's great for me.
Yeah.
And it was quite some piece of television. It really was.
It's probably going to be the most spectacular piece of TV I think we'll ever see in our lifetimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unless you're old enough to remember the coronation, because like I said in the notice board after the funeral, if you're old enough to remember that, I imagine it probably was quite the spectacle, but this was something else. So obviously, because of the Queen's death and the funeral, I had to do a bit of reorganizing. So what I've decided to do is 4 episodes that I was planning to do this year. I've had to move to early next year. 2 of them are the in the Hambleton series, which hasn't started yet. Those will be Benningborough and Newton on Ouse. I thought that made sense, so it doesn't interfere with York. One of the Bradford ones, which, if you're interested, is Menston, and one of the East Riding ones, which is Everingham, which would have been, this year, but it's not a big deal. So those 4 will be early next year instead of this year. It's also meant I've had to move a few other things around. One of these is a West Lindsey episode, Snitterby, which obviously normally comes out on Monday, but Snitterby will come out on Thursday, and it's going to be after. Hang on, let me get the date here. 30. It'll be November the 3rd, that one, in place of the normal Leeds episode. The reason I've done that is so that Leeds and Selby still finish on the same week. So that was the original plan. I wanted to stick to it. The other thing I've done is it sort of the 5 episodes that I was doing in Northumberland. Those 5 were supposed to be the last 5 Sundays of the year, but of course we lost one because I had to do some moving around. So 4 of them, the first 4 in Northumberland, will be Lynmouth, Cresswell, New Biggin and Widdrington as planned. But the last one, I've had to move it, and it will be on December the 23rd. Holy Island will be the last one you see this year. And then, of course, the Christmas special will come after that. But I haven't talked to you about that yet. I will do in due course. So a bit of moving around, but it was needed.
Necessary.
It was necessary.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of good, actually, because Holy Island being the last one of the year is actually kind of a special way to end, I think.
I think
So,
as well,
did me a favour.
you know, to say that we put out, or you put out a couple of polls, having a couple of posts as about whether or not we should put out episodes on certain days. And just want to say as well, thank you very much for your input. It was very useful to have sort of the general opinion.
It was needed. I mean,
Yeah.
I genuinely didn't know what to do. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, putting a video out on YouTube is not going to end the world if there's a major event on. But
if there's a major event, that's the focus, isn't it?
Yeah, it's more about respect and doing the right thing, which I think, with your help, we did. So hopefully.
Damn it, Sam. Yes, you did. WhatsApp group. Haven't got that far yet.
No.
We will.
Yeah.
We will.
Yeah. Possibly.
Give it time.
Possibly. Yeah.
Keep an eye on the group and the page.
Yeah, it's something that we will eventually have time for, but it's just knowing when to find that time. I mean, yeah. I'm quite busy with making episodes, but
I'm doing a bit of work in between.
Yeah, I mean, it's just simply finding time to do stuff. You know, it's that whole. Even though I say unhealthy amount of time on my hands in every episode, it's become a healthy amount of time in my hands now. I'll be honest.
I mean, I work literally 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. So I don't work bank holidays. But then one weekend in two, I have extra visitors. And then the other weekend, we're off out. And then later this year, I've got a cross-stitching retreat coming up. I've got a wedding coming up. And I've got something else coming up, which I'm not going to mention in case that person's watching. All falling on weekends. So, like, my weekend time is taken up. So...
yeah, I think so. So, yeah. Right. We may as well move on to the next thing. It's a bit early, but never mind. We can have an extended general chat at the end, can't we?
So it's very quiet today.
Yeah, not many comments today, which is a bit unusual.
Come on.
But I'm sure all the regulars are still there, Nikki. They're just don't know what to say at the moment. And probably astounded by all the things.
I mean, I'm pretty sure. Can you guys hear us okay? We haven't actually asked that. I'm pretty sure that you can.
Well, they normally can. Do you ever find yourself talking in your sleep and reeling off? I think I should be reeling off.
Really?
No. I could do that.
Not yet.
Oh dear. That's a good answer, actually, Dave. Too busy listening to you. Right. Okay. So the last thing I actually want to talk about here is to do with the Selby and Leeds series finales, which I've briefly mentioned before, but I haven't really given you any information about them. So October the 15th, which is a week on Saturday, the pair of us, myself and the good lady wife sat here, we will be, don't give me that look, we will be in Selby, in the town centre, where you can come and find us and talk to us. We actually want you to do that because it's the same as what I did with the end of the Basset Law episodes yonks back, however long ago it went. We are going to be outside the Abbey, probably outside the main doors. So that's where to find us. And I reckon at about 1:30, 2 o'clock. Does that sound reasonable? That gives us...
Well, we'll try and be there for 1:30.
1:30. So if we be there for 1:30,
find me with a brew in my hand and food in another.
that gives us plenty of time to make that gives us plenty of time to make the Selby episode, which will be quite
to film it, because you'll not make it, will you?
You know what I mean? To film the Selby episode, because it will be a big one. It's a large town, trust me.
So if somebody can kindly provide me with an oxygen tank and a foot bath, so my aching tuxes, I'd be very grateful.
So basically, when we filmed the episode, 1:30 is what we'll aim for outside the main entrance of Selby Abbey, October the 15th. Please do come and find us. Is there anybody in here from Selby? Anybody in here from around Selby, York, that kind of area? Anyone who can get to Selby quite quickly from where they live? Anyone who can come and see us? I will, of course, mention this in the notice
and stuff.
Well, yeah, I shall mention it on the page, the group notice board coming up this Sunday even. I'll make sure people know about it. But that's the Selby one anyway, October 15th, outside the Abbey. Carmina. Brilliant. Excellent. That'd be good to see you. That'd be good to see you. We had
back to peas.
I'm sure there'll be more than you. I mean, for basketball, we had, I think, 7 people, which was I thought was a decent turnout, actually. Considering it was a weekday, I think that was pretty good. I mean, this is a weekend, so it gives us a bit more scope. So hopefully, that's going to encourage more people to come and say hello, which is what we want. Above all, drones is coming too. Oh, yes. Now, if you can't make the Selby one, you can potentially make the Leeds one. Now, this one is a little bit sort of less planned yet because I haven't sorted out what I'm doing with Wetherby, because that's where it's going to be. Now, I'll be in Wetherby on Friday, October the 21st, so they'll be really close together, these. Basically just a few days between them. Now, I don't know Wetherby at all, so I don't really know where to meet people. I will look at the map. If anybody knows Wetherby out there and can give me some suggestions of a place to meet people, then please do. But that's a Friday, October the 21st, the same story. I'll be on my own, though. Nikki will not be with me for that one because it's a weekday. Wetherby, Friday, October the 21st. Come and find me, and we can have a little chat there too. That'll be the end of the Leeds series. Probably around the same time as well, about half-one. Give me a chance to film the Wetherby episode, and then we'll do what we need to do afterwards. So yeah, that's those. I will, of course, talk about those again in due course on the page, the group, etc. Before they actually happen. Was I surprised how well the West Hallam video did? Yeah, a little bit, Mark, to be fair. Those who don't remember, West Hallam is in Erewash. It's generally residential. Didn't expect it to do very well because it's residential. There's not really much to talk about. But it was actually really popular for some reason. I wonder why that was. That was the one, Nikki, where the bin man gave the thumbs up with his.
Oh yeah.
That was really funny.
Alice, I've got to wear the right shoes, and to be fair, I've worn the right ones ever since.
Yes, I think it was back in March, Alice. Yeah, it was earlier this year, certainly, wasn't it? And you were there, I remember. So outside the town hall in Wetherby, shame I'll miss you by one day as I'm working in Wetherby the day before. Oh, never mind, Rachel. Maybe, just for you, when the Bradford series comes to an end, I know it's not even started yet, but when that begins and ends, we can make that a day on when you can come and see us. So,
which episode did you start putting cards on parish notice boards?
Oh heck, that was
it this year or
no, it was last year. It was in Rotherham. Because I remember putting a card on Thorpe Salvin's notice board, which Matt Driver went and found, by the way. He actually took a trip out with his kids to go and find the card, believe it or not. I don't know where he is these days. He doesn't seem to...
Very busy, I think.
Yeah, well, I don't want to say too much, but, I mean, he's been one of the channel's greatest champions.
Yeah.
And he revealed something to me a few months ago, which I don't want to tell you because it's too private to tell you.
But it's a busy chat, we'll just leave it at that.
But he's definitely, if he's out there, I'm sure he's still watching, but he's just not been as active as normal. That was quite cool that he went and found the card on the Thoughts I've noticed board. I can't remember the first one I did put a card on. Definitely in Rotherham though, so a long time ago.
Hi John.
I'll have to work out what it was. Hi John.
Mrs. Chocolate Box here.
Yes, for those not in the know, John Cochran, who's just joined the chat, has given Nikki a new nickname, and that nickname is Mrs. Chocolate Box.
Because of how I refer to the lovely houses.
Yes, chocolate box houses, which I've said millions of times in millions of episodes. It's come from Nikki. Nikki calls them chocolate box houses, and the reason for it is because they wouldn't look out of place on a box of chocolates. It's as simple as that. I mean, thatched cottages are usually the ones
and ones with lots of roses and flowers and stuff.
Yeah. And I'm actually amazed how many chocolate box houses we do see. You know,
Lord,
when you get out into the countryside, you do see an array of different housing styles. If you live in a town like we do, or you tend to find the streets all look the same. I mean, you look at our front window, all the houses on our street look exactly the same. But when you get into the countryside, there's a bit more character. And because of that...
And especially when you've got an old village that's been... A village that's been there since Jesus were a lad. And then you've had like original houses, a couple of houses built, then another couple of houses built. You know, and then a house that's been replaced or the frontage has been redone. And things, they start to look a bit different, don't they?
They do, yeah. And it obviously varies from place to place. Because you can go to somewhere like North Kilworth, which is coming out this Sunday, full of grand sort of townhouses, which sort of date from both Georgian and Edwardian times.
Yeah.
But then you go down the road to South Kilworth, and there's more thatched cottages. It looks a bit different. Two villages very close together, vastly different housing styles, and you get that. You know, wherever you go, they're not uniform, which is a reason why I like doing this, because it's not boring. You know, you could walk up and down the street, look at the same house 20 odd times, you get bored of it. So
just looking at it, really enjoying the Newark and Sherwood episodes, Norman. Good stuff.
Yeah, I've not talked about Newark for a bit. I've been focusing on other series. Newark's just sort of poodled along and done its own thing.
Yeah.
But obviously, Newark still has some big ones to come. I've still got to do Southall, and I've still got to do Ollerton and Edwinstowe. These are all big places, and of course Newark itself, which will be a little spoiler for you. That'll be the last one, 84th and last one. So I can meet people in Newark Town Centre, and I do know where to do that meet, by the way, outside the old Butter Market. That's where that will be.
A few of these comments. So yes, John, also a dog lover. Damn it, Sam. Good luck with that. Keep us in the loop. Richard, have you noticed in Leeds all the houses back-to-back terraced housing? Just you wait until you see Lynmouth.
Yes. I didn't mention Lynmouth when we did the review of the Northumberland trip.
Lynmouth
was
a
one we
typical
did.
colliery village, and it's a lovely little place.
Well, not really little.
Well, little enough.
I mean, it's only...
And there's a film connection.
There is. Does anybody want to hazard a guess what that film connection is? Let's see if they know. So Lynmouth is...
Without Googling.
Yes, without Googling.
I'm watching you.
Lynmouth's famous for a couple of things, but you will know it from a film, a very, very popular film. It was called something different in the film. So let's see if anyone can get it.
Yeah,
that's your challenge.
Absolutely.
Before this live stream ends, see if you can get it. You've got 17 minutes.
Lynmouth was quite unusual as a village because you got like bang on the coast. You've got a.
Oh really, Alice?
Yeah. So bang on the coast, you've got an old colliery, an old pithead, an old mine. You've got a power station, and then you've got this village with all these like rows of houses. And then the village's cemetery, which of course you know I love a cemetery.
He's got it.
Yeah.
He's got it. Norman Gascoigne, you're a legend. You've got it.
Yeah. So the cemetery was a good 15, 20-minute walk away.
It was, yeah. It's a long way from the village.
And you know, I mean, you guys know that I love a cemetery. In fact, I'm actually thinking about diversifying and doing a few cemetery videos if you guys would like that kind of thing. So yes, Norman, you're absolutely spot on.
Billy Elliot.
The cemetery in Lynmouth was used for some of the scenes in the film Billy Elliot, where Billy had gone to see his mother's grave, and there was a local landmark in the background. And I'm not going to say any more than that. You'll have to watch the episode.
The landmark in question doesn't.
I just said I'm not going to say any more. Right.
All right. I was just going to say about it. It's different now, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's not there anymore.
That's what I was going to say. It's just not there anymore. It's been knocked down. But even so, it's the film preserves that landmark. It's quite an important one actually to Lima's existence.
Hi, Patricia.
Yes, there's another familiar name, Patricia, who
Yeah.
watches virtually everything I put out. I can't get over that. The church warden from Maplebrook frightened the vicar on finding my card.
True story about High Marnham Power Station.
Brilliant.
They filmed a scene there in Harry Potter. I can believe that.
Oh really? What scene was that?
I don't know.
Because I
can believe that.
I believe it too. I'm not a massive Harry Potter fan, but I have seen the films.
Dave, Rotherham was featured in a few films. I have a story about that. So there was a film that was done in sort of the late 80s, early 90s called King Ralph. And it had John Goodman in it, the guy from Roseanne. And that was filmed. You could actually see my granddad's allotment, my granddad's house, the road that my granddad lived on, and Rotherham's Steelworks on that.
Yeah.
So yes, and that's right, Dalton. And I went to Thriver School back in my youth. So I'm an old lady now.
All I need is the side. And I look like a Grim Reaper, don't
I? And half of the kids at Thriver School literally did a bunk that day because they were wanting to go and try and be an extra in the movie, which of course didn't happen. But there you go.
What maggot factory, Norman?
TVI Haunted Villages.
I didn't know there was a maggot factory in Elston. That never even came with in my research either.
I don't know about TVI Haunted Villages, but there is one village with a church, an old church and a new church that I want to go to, which is that one where that woman's buried.
That
You
helps.
were talking to me about the other day, Sylvia Plath.
Oh, Heptonstall.
Heptonstall. I am really looking forward to Heptonstall.
Yes, Nikki will be with me for Heptonstall. That's oh god, is it Kirklees or Calderdale? It's cold. I think it's Calderdale, off the top of my head.
Because it's got like a huge abandoned ruined church and a new church and a massive cemetery.
And Sylvia Plath
and
is
in
in
it
there
the grave
somewhere.
of Sylvia Plath.
So Nikki will be with me for
So
that
I will
one.
be on
Definitely. So
Richard,
so-
seen the Price of Coal film that I thought Paisley Pitt and Woonwell. No, not seen that, I don't think. Seen Kes, of course, that's only up the road from me. Terence Sent was in a film called ID.
now Norman, the hotel and spa you talk about, yes, that is in the episode, but I never knew it was a maggot factory. I've obviously talked about it being a hotel and spa, but Elston, yeah, coming out of Elston, the big house on the left that's now a hotel and
Was that the
spa.
one where we turned right and we parked on that road and there was a big barn in front of us that was nearly $1 million?
That's right, that's the one.
Right. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So Norman, it is in the episode, but obviously I never knew it was a maggot factory. Obviously I've talked about it as a hotel and spa, but it's there.
Harry Potter
It's in
scene,
it.
by the look of it, and
We'll
it
see it tomorrow.
is in a camping scene under one of the cooling towers.
Yeah, obviously the cooling tower is no longer there anymore. Marnham Power Station has been long since pulled down, which is a bit of a shame, really, because it used to be one of the landmarks I could see from my own bedroom window when I lived in Saxelby. I could see all three power stations along the Trent. I could see High Marnham, I could see Cottam, and I could see West Burton. But of course, Marnham is no longer there. West Burton is going to be pulled down soon, and Cottam will probably follow suit in a few years' time. I don't know. So when you do Nottingham, there's an old church called Annesley Church just off Junction 27. Yes, there is. And Annesley will indeed be covered because that's one of the three parishes of Ashfield. So the other two being Selston and Felly. So that'll be interesting. There's only three there. Should be a one-day job, that, a trip into Ashfield. So Yeah.
Yeah, I should be doing some cemetery videos then.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's on a new channel or an arm of this one, who knows? Probably it is an arm of this one.
They were called Salt and Pepper, weren't they, Dave? The Tinsley Towers.
Aye. Where were you
Don't
when
worry, I'm
the
coming to Ansley,
towers
Alice.
at Tinsley got demolished, Dave? Because I tell you where I was. I lived in a house at Meadowbank at the time, and I got it on video. I was in the right place at the right time. My ex-husband was outside, stood on the garden with all the video equipment, and I just leaned out the bedroom window.
Didn't need to be anything fancy, did it?
No, I didn't. No.
You know, obviously, I remember the Tinsley Towers, but obviously I wasn't around here.
They were a massive landmark. You know, when you sort of could see them coming up the M1, you knew you were home.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Lansborough. Whereabouts, Dave? Because I grew up on many years ago, James Street.
One, Richard, just, oh God, I can never pronounce this. Warsop or Warsop, how is it pronounced? I can't remember. Just that one.
School is, how is it pronounced?
The only one in Mansfield.
Clough Road.
Ah!
Were you living there? I was living there. I was living on James Street when they chopped it up to build Workley Road, Warsop.
Warsop, right.
Thanks,
okay.
Richard.
I won't mess that one up when I eventually get to that one then.
Isn't it funny? You know, it's a small world.
So, yeah, so that's the only one in Mansfield. So, Selston's a large village. Yes, it is. Hey, fun fact about Selston, by the way. Did you know that two of the lads who carried the Queen's coffin came from Selston?
Yep. Yeah, I knew Workley Road, yeah. And going on to Mick Platz's shop. And what do you call that one up on College Road there?
I'm sure he'll tell us if you can't remember. I won't know because I wasn't living in Rotherham at this time. I've only lived here since 2013.
Yeah, still scratching your daddy's pants. Anyway. No, she's not in Hebden Bridge, Carmina. She's at
Heptonstall.
Heptonstall,
yeah.
No, not quite Midland Road, Dave. College Road, the shop on College Road with the old lady that used to run it.
You and Dave are having your own little conversation here. I'm trying to talk to everybody else.
That's quite cool. I'm sure you guys don't mind me being in here.
No, I'm sure they don't. But it's just that it seems to be you and Dave talking to each other, and then there's me. Either way, really? Okay. I suppose it'll be okay. Edwinstowe is a nice place. Never been.
Yeah.
Never been to Edwinstowe. Although I do know the Major Oak is located within the Edwinstowe parish boundaries, so I should be going to that because I can't not go to the Major Oak.
Is that another long walk?
I don't know. Is it a far walk to the Major Oak from Edwinstowe, people?
I seem to remember it being a long walk when I was a kid.
I've only ever been to the Major Oak once before, and I was probably about yay high. If it's not a long walk, I'll obviously walk it. But if not, I might be finding a way to.
More facts about High Marnham for you there, Andy.
I've done Marnham.
Some more facts coming up.
Marnham was Yonk's back. It's next to Cookney. Yes, it is. It is next to Cookney. Andy, can you do any of the Cotswolds villages?
Give it time.
When I get down that far, a long way south. So,
I'm quite looking forward to going to places like, because you know what, in Oxfordshire, Somerset, parts of Buckinghamshire, and so on, and that sort of area, Gloucestershire, and so on. There are some beautiful, beautiful places, and I'm quite looking forward to getting to that sort of area.
And Nikki used to live in Buckinghamshire a long time ago.
I've been everywhere.
You lived in Cheshire?
I lived in Cheshire. I worked in Amersham, but I also spent some time in a village out there as well. So yeah, I mean that there are a huge amount of beautiful little places out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, quite looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'll make sure that Nikki is with me when I do that area of Buckinghamshire in question, because you'll know it far greater than I will. So you'll be able to point me around everything. Are there any parishes in Jersey and Guernsey?
Probably.
Oh heck! How long have you got, Richard? This might be a complicated answer. So, Jersey and Guernsey are split up into various little subdivisions, but they're not civil parishes, and the reason for that,
it's like Saint this and Saint that, and Saint Brelard and Saint Saviour and Saint Peter Paul and Saint this and Saint that.
Yeah, I forget what they're called, but there's some name to describe them. Now, in theory, if Jersey and Guernsey were part of England, I would have to go and do them, but they're not. They're not part of the UK, but yet they are governed by the UK. They're what's called a crown dependency. Now, Nikki knows about this as much as I do.
The Isle of Man is the same.
Because obviously, with her working for the bank, you have to know this kind of stuff, don't you?
It's parts of Channel Island, Isle of Man.
So, the crown dependencies: Jersey, Guernsey, and the Isle of Man, and they sort of self-rule themselves, but it's hard to describe.
Responsible to the mainland.
Yeah. The crown is basically obviously the king now, not the queen, is the sort of head of state, if you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. But they have their own government, their own parliament, their own council, if you know what I mean. And they're not part of England, they're not part of Scotland, Wales, or anything like that. They're their own thing. So because of that, they'll not be on the channel.
Yeah. So the Jersey are. There is the royal connection with Jersey now is that the reigning monarch takes on the title of the Duke of Normandy, which is what governs the royal sort of governance for Jersey.
Yeah.
And in the Isle of Man, it's the Lord of Man, and so on. So there are all these little quirks about them, isn't there?
Yeah. I mean, I never expected to be talking about them on this meeting, to be honest with you. I mean, if we do go to the Channel Islands or to the Isle of Man again, because we have been before, then obviously I'll take the camera with me. Mm-hmm. You know me, the camera comes everywhere with me, and I'll probably make a video about it. But without researching it fully, I can't give you a definite answer to that, and I don't want to say something totally wrong. But it is a complicated answer. But they won't be on the channel, not as a normal episode anyway. So. Where in Doncaster did you live, Rachel? Because I lived in Doncaster for a while. I lived in both Hexthorpe and in Bentley. I'm sure you know those two names. It'd be interesting to know. Hexthorpe was an experience. It's not exactly the
arrested.
Yes, not the nicest place in Doncaster, I must admit. But you know, Doncaster does have some good areas, and I've proved that in the Doncaster series, hopefully. When am I going to Bradfield? Oh, heck. That's the last one left in South Yorkshire, and it'll have to be next year at some point, Richard. It'll take me all day. It's a massive place. It's not just Bradfield, it's all sorts of different suburbs of Sheffield and other little villages too. So, near the racecourse many years before you were born. Ah, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, so...
Ashfield was a famous mining area.
Yes. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. More mining areas. To carry on from the Bolsover sort of, mainly that sort of Derbyshire, Nottinghamshire border, isn't it? It's all mines down there. So there's a little car park in Edwinstowe near the village kitchen where you can park free for a couple of hours. Excellent. That's good to know, Alice. That's good to know. I will need to know things like that for Edwinstowe when it eventually comes up on my radar. But... I think we are about there. We've been on air for nearly an hour. We've discussed all the issues I wanted to discuss this week.
Month.
I did that last time, didn't I? I said week instead of month. I'm so used to saying week because I think it's the parish notice board. I haven't quite got used to this yet. So Anyway.
Any more questions?
Anyway, yeah, you've got
a couple of minutes to get them in. We might stop for an extra few minutes. Is there any other questions?
I think it's been a good meeting this week. You can park for free in Wetherby. That's good to know. With it being a town.
Yeah.
Yeah. You park for free in Otley as well if you know where to go, which we did.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, I mean, guys, as you know, just as an aside, just while we're waiting for the last few comments and things to come in, just keep what you're doing, keep watching, keep liking, keep sharing. You know, let people know about us. Yeah. Any suggestions, any comments of what we can do on the channel? Big cups.
You're right.
Just let us know. You know.
Yeah, just let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, what's the favourite episode of the film? Oh, the last one.
The last one?
The last one. It's
Holy
always
Island.
the last one. You know, if you'd have asked us that 6 months ago, it would have been the last episode.
Mm-hmm.
You have a few really nice, you know, places that we've been to, but, you know, there's always sort of lots of good things about every episode, isn't there? So,
yeah. Come in and ask what's your favourite film.
Oh.
Now, I'm going to let Nikki answer that one because even though I make videos, I'm not very good when it comes to watching them. So,
yeah.
Here's your answer.
I quite like mob gangster type films like Goodfellas, Casino, that sort of thing. I'm not into horror. I do like a good sort of a drama, things like, you know, films like Taken. I like Taken. That was a good film.
I will find you.
I will kill you. Yes. But then again, I also like a sort of a decent sort of classic film. I mean, I love the Alfred Hitchcock version of Rebecca, for example, black and white film with Laurence Olivier in it. So I'm very eclectic.
Yeah.
I don't read much, but I do like to watch a good film or listen to a film while I'm doing my stitching. So I thought we were drinking tonight.
Well,
give it time.
Obviously, I think what Richard means is he was referring to the little bottles of mead, which obviously we haven't opened, but we were showing these earlier. These came from Holy Island. I think, guys, that's about...
a minute, one more. Would we consider doing it behind the scenes? Well, I might just sneaky film him filming a video for you one day. Maybe.
You can edit it. Right, okay. Time for us to disappear. Yeah. So thanks everybody for joining us again this month. We'll be back in November.
Yeah.
Just want to make the point as well that there's only going to be this one and November and the December meetings before Christmas. So hope you've all started to think about your Christmas shopping because it's coming soon. Right, I will see you guys next month. Elston video is coming out tomorrow, and yeah, thanks for being part of it again.
Thanks for being a really great audience and keeping us chatting.
Yeah.
So you've been Andy.
I've been Andy, also known as the Village Idiots, and that's been Mrs. Chocolate Box, and we're out.